Hey, welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Excited to be here with all of you on our Friday live, which is called Business in Brief. My name is Meredith Benka, and I am joining you here live from my home office, winding down the summer. And you may also be listening to this in an episode of Home-Based Business 101, which is the podcast that I have created to help home-based business owners like you take their business to the next level. So summer's winding down. You're getting ready to head into the new school year, if you've got children at home, if you're still in that kind of academic calendar mode or not. Even if you're not, it always seems like when summer comes to an end that we have another opportunity to reevaluate where we are. And that's why I wanted to talk about today habits and how important habits are when it comes to building your business and it comes to growing your business. I want to check in on Facebook and see if we've got anybody joining us here live. If you are here with me, I'd love it for you to just drop me a comment. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're with us. And I will also say that if you're joining us on the replay, just drop a comment that you're here in the replay. Hey, Charlie, good to see you. Good to see you here with us. Charlie's actually one of the members of our Step Up Your Side Gig 5-day challenge that's starting next week, which I'm really, really excited about. So hopefully you've seen some information about that in the group and you are getting ready to join as well. But let's dive in. And we've got Troy joining us too. Hey, Troy, how's it going? Always good to see you here as well. So habits. Oh my gosh, we could talk about this topic for a really long time, but there are a few things that I want to highlight for you today. Have you ever heard the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything? I heard that, I don't really remember when for the first time, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other. What do you mean? How I do one thing is how I do everything. How could that be possible? I don't ride a bike the same way that I make dinner. I don't have a conversation with a friend the same way that I do with somebody at work. I don't behave on my best behavior, if I'm at an executive function versus at a friend's birthday party. What do you mean how I do one thing is, not how I do everything? That didn't make any sense to me. But the more I got into mindset work, the more I stepped into entrepreneurship, the more I recognized, perhaps as I was just simply growing older, the more truth I found in that statement. The way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. So this also gets me to thinking about a conversation I have with my children pretty regularly. And I'd love for you to drop this in the comments if you're here with me now, or if you're catching the replay. But answer me this. Do you make your bed every day? Simple question. Do you make your bed every day? Yes or no? I make my bed every day. I didn't want to make my bed every day when I was a teenager. I have a teenager, trust me, she does not want to make her bed every day. And some days, actually most days, she doesn't ever really get around to doing it. Now, my 9-year-old, he's a little bit better. He does make his bed more often than not. But my husband and I, we make our bed every day. There are actually studies out there that show that people who make their bed every day are more successful than people who don't make their bed. And I recently just read a book that was written by a gentleman from the military that said how the habits that he learned in the military have allowed for him to have success in life overall. And one of those habits was making his bed every day. So if you start thinking about, well, how I do one thing is how I do everything, think about that. Do you make your bed every day? Is your home picked up? Is your office area where you're doing work clean and organized? Those are indicators that you may not have organization in other areas of your life. Are you a planner in one area of your life? Then you're probably a planner in another area of your life. And we have all different extremes of this. I used to run a marketing department, and I had a gal that was a project manager that worked for us, and her name was Kim. She's amazing, good friend of mine. And she was so incredibly organized. I mean, I was envious. She was so incredibly organized. She planned out everything for her husband, for herself, and for her 2 kids. And she was very comfortable in that world. So no doubt she was a project manager, but she knew what they were going to have for dinner every day. That drove what she was going to buy at the grocery store. She knew what was going to go into her kids' lunches. She knew what was happening every weekend. She had calendars that were shared with her husband. I mean, she kind of treated her life like a project. And again, not surprising because she's a project manager. I don't need or desire that level of detail around what's going on. But I will tell you, as my life has gotten busier with 2 kids, a husband who's an entrepreneur, myself running multiple businesses, I absolutely have to have a daily plan. And I absolutely have to have a weekly plan, a monthly plan, and a calendar for our family. So those are habits that I have created, but they're indicators that if I'm organized in one area of my life, I'm highly likely to be organized in another area. So look at your environment, look at the way that you are doing life. It's probably a repeated pattern in several different areas. And some of those are really good patterns. Some of those are things like me making my bed. That's a really good pattern. But where can I apply that discipline someplace else in my life that's going to allow me to get greater results? Sometimes we have a hard time developing a habit when we have uncertainty around a skill. Clearly, I know how to make a bed. It's very easy. I've done it for a long time. So making a bed is a no-brainer. I don't have to think about how to do it. But the reason that I don't have to think about how to do it is because I've done it so many times that it's second nature to me. It's second nature. I've done it so many times, I don't have to think about doing it, right? When you're learning something new, you have to give yourself enough time to have such clarity and such almost like no-brainer activity where that task, that habit becomes something that you're so good at doing that you can do it with your eyes closed, like you and me making our beds. We can do that really easily. But when you're learning something new, and we as entrepreneurs are constantly learning something new, it's a requirement of the environment that we have decided to operate in. It's a requirement of the environment that we have decided to operate in. So if we are placing ourselves in an environment where we're going to need to continually learn, then we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and we have to get good at making new habits, even if we don't know what we're doing. So how can we go about doing that? We're learning so many new skills. So many of you are here in this group because you want to learn more about marketing. You want to learn more about your offer. You want to learn more about pricing. You want to learn how to generate leads. You want to learn how to do all of the things that the business you are building requires of you. But I will tell you, before you can start doing that, you've got to have your head clear, and you've got to have some idea of where you're headed in the long term. So when it comes to habits, I wrote down here in my notes, not only how you do one thing is how you do everything, but the vision that you have for your business will be reflected in the actions that you take. So have you taken the time to actually document the vision that you have for your business, for yourself? What is it you're trying to create? Who is it you're trying to impact? What's the important work that you are here to do? And have you mapped that back to the daily action that you're taking? If you want to create a new habit, if you want to create a new way of doing things in your life, oftentimes we need to see that what we do each day is connected to what we want long term. I'll go back to my corporate marketing days again. And one of the things that we learned as managers was that we needed to provide our staff, the people that were working for us, our teams, we needed to provide them with some idea and concept of the big picture and where they fit in and why they were important. So I was running a marketing department in a print production facility, and we were getting ready to roll out an entirely new brand with all new brand identity. All of our brand guidelines had changed. There was a lot for people to learn, and we were running into some issues with quality control around the new brand. And I helped the people in those departments understand, yes, you're running a printing press, or yes, you're doing pre-press, or yes, you're the project manager that's overseeing the delivery of this large marketing campaign, but you're a steward of the brand. You're the one that's helping us to make sure that because we have these guidelines, it can be recognized again and again and again and uphold the standards of the brand. And that by providing them that vision, then when they got down to doing a proof on a certain day or running a press a certain way, they could see, hey, wait a minute, you know what? It's my job to make sure that that's in alignment, because at the end of the day, that's getting in front of our customer and we want them to recognize us. So by providing them with a big picture, I was able to help them develop the habit of quality control in the work that they were doing. Well, you don't have a print production facility, probably. You're just you. Maybe you have a couple of staff, maybe you have a VA, maybe you're running a little bit larger enterprise than that, but most of the people here are solopreneurs. So how does that same theory apply to you? Well, you can train your brain just like we would train the people that are working with us on our teams. You can train your brain to understand, hey, here's the big vision of where I'm trying to go, and here's the daily task that I'm going to do today. And this task is important to be executed this way every single day. If it's lead gen, you need to be doing lead gen in your business every single day. Do you need to be doing social media every day? Yes, you need to be doing that every day. Do you need to be managing your list of contacts, your list of customers, communicating with them, having a marketing communications plan for them, understanding how you're going to impact them? Yes, yes, yes. Those are like the daily task type stuff. Well, how does that relate to your big vision? So that when you sit down in the morning and you get ready to open up that customer relationship management software that you're using, and you're going to start sending out some messages to people, or you sit down in front of ManyChat, or you sit down in front of Facebook Messenger, whatever you're using, that you've got the discipline, that you've formed the habit because you've allowed yourself to see, okay, this is really important for me to do every day because it relates to my long-term goal, my vision, the impact that I want to have in the world. If you have a disconnect there, then it's probably difficult for you to execute on your daily actions in your business, because it's really easy to just kind of brush them aside, get, distracted, go off and do something else. But if you have clarity and purpose, then taking that action every day becomes easier. So I really want you to ask yourself if you have taken the time to map your vision to the daily actions you need to take right now, to your monthly planning, to your quarterly planning in your business. And if you haven't, you know what's so cool about entrepreneurship? It's never too late. You can do it now. You can map those things together. So vision is related to your action, and action is where your habits live. It's where your discipline shows up, and it's how your business is going to grow. The other thing I want to talk about here a little bit that I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we have a hard time with, is the idea of rewarding ourselves for positive behaviors in our business. Because we only want to celebrate the big wins. We're looking for, the sales goal to have been met. We're looking for, the six figures to be coming in the door. We're looking for, whatever it is that you're striving for. And you tell yourself, well, I'll be successful when. I'll be successful when. And when we tell ourselves that, again, we are creating an environment where we feel like we're grinding and just hustling to get where we need to be. And when we have that type of energy, the discipline can erode, the habits can fall off, or we can begin to develop habits that aren't healthy for our business, that aren't leading us to where we need to be. Are you diving into social media and just doing the social scroll? Or are you diving in there, responding to clients, posting, engaging, growing relationships using social media each day? It's so easy to get sucked into the scroll. So here's an example of a reward that you could give to yourself. You could say, okay, this is the time of day each day that I'm going to work in social media. And I am not going to look at my message responses. I'm not going to look at my personal profile. I'm not going to scroll my news feed until the following things are done, until I've posted to my story, until I've posted to my profile, until I've answered any messages that are related to my business, until I've gone into my group and answered questions and engaged there and developed relationships. Whatever your hit list of social media actions are on a daily basis, don't give yourself time to do the social scroll until those things are done. So say to yourself, okay, I can complete those things in a half an hour, and then I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to just scroll through and comment and see what's going on in the lives of the people that I'm connected to. But don't do the social scroll first. See the idea? Another idea for you, if you have a certain goal that you want to hit, then give yourself micro rewards along the way. Rather than saying, if I hit this goal at the end of the month for my sales or my revenue or, followers or whatever it might be, if I hit that, then I'll take myself to the spa, then I'll get the new shoes, then my husband will take me to dinner, whatever. Instead of waiting for that whole 30-day period, how can you reward yourself today, especially if you're trying to build a new habit? especially if you're trying to build a new habit. So if you're trying to build a new habit of, let's say, lead gen, and we're talking about doing it organically, and you say to yourself, okay, I am going to spend an hour today organically posting, responding, building relationships, doing what I need to do, both on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm going to hit all of those in an hour to an hour and a half today. I'm going to plow through them. And then when I am done with that, I'm going to give myself the guilty pleasure of reading maybe a novel, not even a business book, but I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to go sit outside on, a beautiful sunny summer day, have a glass of tea, or, I always say soda here. I don't know if you guys all say soda, but, have some soda, whatever it might be. That's kind of that little guilty pleasure for you. Give that to yourself, because when you do that, you're actually giving your body, hits of positive hormones that are allowing you to remember and to recall biologically, hey, if I do this, then I get that. And that's where habits become from. I mean, there's so many studies done on human habits and animal habits, and I'm certainly not a scientist around them. I'm just telling you what has worked for me and what I see work for my private clients and people that take courses from me as well. So often discipline is, I had somebody today, I said, what's standing in your way from getting that done? And the answer was me, M-E, capital letters with an exclamation mark. Well, if you know you're getting in your own way, then it really isn't the digital media that you need to learn, or how to send emails, or how to build this web page, or how to do something. You can figure that out. If you're an entrepreneur, you can figure that out, or you can hire somebody to do it for you. But where you have to work first is on that mindset and on those habits. And that's why when I sit down and work with individuals, we actually start with their vision first. I don't care if they have been in business for 10 minutes or 10 years. I want to know what their vision is. I want to make sure it's big enough. I want to make sure that when they start telling me about it, their voice changes and their body language changes and they get excited, and I can hear that coming through in what they're communicating to me. That's when I know that we've tapped into the thing that's going to motivate them to slug through the stuff that they don't really want to do and to develop the habits that they need to get developed in their business. So all of this starts with you really understanding what is it that you need to do each day in your business and your life. And I'm actually going to share my screen here, which is why I decided to use Zoom. Sometimes you can just, create little things for yourself that can make a really big difference. And so let me see if I can actually find this PDF here. Hopefully you guys are all going to be able to see this. I actually made this for one of my private clients. And this, and those of you that might be catching this in a non-video version, I'll try to explain this little worksheet here that I'm showing on the screen a little bit better if you're just catching an audio version of this live. But here's the deal. This is something I created for her that just says, I work consistently to improve my habits. Energy is usually at its peak in the first part of the day, which means you should be completing habits that inspire or excite you the day ahead. So for the week of, and she can write in here, and then down the left-hand side, it says tasks. And then there are simply little bubbles that she can fill in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if she's done them or not. So in this task column, you could write, have I done my mindset work? One of the things I love about the Psychic Genius course is that the first section is really around creating something that we call a morning formula. And that morning formula is like a mantra to help you really see your vision in a very, very detailed way. So this person has a morning formula. So their first task would be morning formula. They would write that right in, and then they would fill in the bubble that they had done it each day. Maybe the next thing that they want to do in order to have a great day is exercise or eat a healthy breakfast, because recognizing that your business habits are related to your personal habits, back to that concept of whatever I do one way, however I do one thing is how I do another thing. So it all applies. So make a list. This is really how you want to live your life. I want to wake up and have a positive mindset. I want to feed my body and feed my soul. Then I want to feed my business so that I can earn the revenue that allows me to live the life that I want to live and have the impact I want to have. Okay, so what are all those things that you need to get done? write them down, and then check them off on the list. Maybe it's water intake. Maybe it's social media posting. Maybe you make something and you need to, work a certain amount of time each day creating. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you're a content creator and you need to work each day on that. Write it down and then check it off each day that you've done it. You can use a lot of different systems to create a personalized checklist for yourself. I have a friend that's an attorney, and he keeps a little booklet, and he keeps it for the whole entire year. It's all entirely color coded. And I was like, his name's Jason. I'm like, why don't you buy something that, is already and he's like, nope, this is my system. And he uses a little ruler and he draws these lines and has this whole checkbox system for what he's done or what he needs to do each day. And I have watched him completely transform not only his business, but his health and his life, because he has just allowed himself to have that level of discipline in creating habits. So there's another episode of Home-Based Business 101 that you might catch that's called Being the CEO of Your Own Life, the top lessons that I learned from being around corporate CEOs and how they apply to us as entrepreneurs. And that's one of them is discipline and clarity of purpose and how we spend our time each day. So the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to habits and this episode for all of you today is just commitment. Think of yourself, think of all of us as entrepreneurs as if we were all standing around the edges of a gigantic Olympic-sized swimming pool. We're standing around this Olympic-sized swimming pool. And there are Olympians in that pool, and they are swimming fast, and they are swimming hard, and we're standing on the side. Then there's some people that are swimming that aren't quite as good as the Olympians, but they're in the pool and they're swimming. Then there's some people that are in the pool kind of clinging to the edge. Then there's some people that are sitting on the edge with their feet in. And then there's some people that are standing on the edge. And then there's some people that are walking away. They don't even want to be near the pool. All of those people have a different level of commitment of what it is they're trying to accomplish. That Olympic swimmer has such an insane level of commitment to be able to perform at the level that they are. It is their sole focus and desire. Are you the Olympic level business owner? Are you more the professional who's in there, who's swimming, who's doing all of the right things and has a balanced life? Because we know that an Olympian is insanely dedicated, singular focus. If you're a multi-focused person, I'd say I'm a multi-focused person. I have a family, I have multiple businesses, but I am 100% committed to those things. I'm in the pool, I'm in the lane, I'm swimming every day. Some days I swim faster than others, but there's never a day that I don't swim. That's a level of commitment. If you're on the side of the pool hanging in, you've just gotten into the pool, your commitment is high, but you need some skills, you need some practice, you need some training, you need to develop those habits. Congratulations on being in the pool. Figure out what habits you need to employ, figure out what skills you need to learn, and start swimming in the lane. Now, if you're sitting on the sideline, ask yourself why. This gets back to the vision. The difference between the people in the pool and the people outside of the pool is one simple thing. It's their vision. How much action they take is their level of commitment. But if you're not even in the pool, then your vision isn't solidified yet. And it's possible to get some help figuring that out. It is absolutely possible to get that figured out. If you're walking away, then you're not standing next to the right pool. And you know what? That's okay. I walked away from the corporate pool. It was no longer the right pool for me. And I'm okay with that. Some of you may be straddling between two pools, 1 foot in the corporate pool, 1 foot in the entrepreneurial pool, and you're trying to make that leap over. And that's okay too. This isn't a place where we're talking about judgment. This is a place where we're talking about acceptance of where we are, having gratitude for where we are, excited anticipation for where we are headed, and complete honest clarity and recognition of what it is we need to put in place to get where we want to go in our business. Really, really straightforward. Your ability to be honest with yourself, your ability to admit where you need to learn, your ability to create habits and to maintain vision are paramount in your success as an entrepreneur. If you'd like to talk more about those things, if you're saying to yourself, wow, Meredith, this is incredible information, but where do I start? I'd love to offer you the chance to book a free consultation with me. Just go to meredithbanka.com, scroll down about halfway down the page, and you'll see that it has my daily mantra, which is massive giving is massive living. So when I am giving of my time and talents every single day, then I can live my life at my highest energetic vibration. And I do that by helping entrepreneurs like you get where they want to go. So if you would like to book that session, just meredithbanka.com, scroll down about halfway down the page, and it'll say book a strategy session. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to spend some time really understanding your business, how we can help you to release any blocks that you have, get you headed on a direction that's going to help you reach your goals and make the impact that you're here to make in the world. So thanks to all of you that joined me live today. Absolutely love seeing you. Thanks to all of you that follow the Home Based Business Podcast. We'll see you again the next time. I'm Meredith Banka with the Side Gig Gurus. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you later. Take care.